Made by Tarsier Studios, the original creators of Little Nightmares, Reanimal is an unsettling, highly atmospheric horror game starring, you guessed it, tiny children in a weird and oversized world. And funnily enough, much like Supermassive Games' Little Nightmares 3, Reanimal is built around co-op, so you'll always have a partner to watch your back, or at the very least, watching you get eaten by monsters made out of human skin. Hey folks, I'm Ash, and after playing through the newest demo, I would like to show you what Reanimal is about, what it does well, and how it stacks up against Little Nightmares 3. Right from the very start, Reanimal leans heavily on its atmosphere to carry the brunt of the horror. You wake up alone on a rickety old ship out in the middle of the sea. A dense fog covers everything around you, forcing you to navigate by following the distant lights of buoys bobbing in the water. And all the while, the wind carries with it the faint echoes of something monstrous. Or maybe it's just nothing. If the goal was to make me feel like an insignificant worm lost in a world far beyond my understanding, Reanimal's intro did a pretty damn good job at it. It was genuinely unsettling to be surrounded by so much nothingness. I was more stressed out in that boat than when actual monsters were nipping at my heels. At least with them, you can focus on solving the problem. But when you're alone with your thoughts in the middle of nowhere, you tend to start imagining horrors far worse than any game developer can ever conjure. Even when I found a companion and finally reached the coastline, things didn't feel any more comfortable. I was faced with an endless expanse of impossibly large cliffs, the sort of scenery Lovecraft would always write about. And just to really drive home the idea that you're not welcome here, someone also sprinkled in a couple of sea mines, just to add that little bit of flavor. Once I finally set foot on land and started running around, I very quickly realized that I'm going to enjoy my time with Reanimal. And if you're wondering why, that will be because there is actual stuff to find. One of my biggest pet peeves with Little Nightmares 3 was that the world was strangely empty. There were secret areas you would have to do leaps of faith to reach, yet there was never anything there. Meanwhile, in Reanimal, every time I went, wait a second, what's that? I was rewarded. Sometimes it was a garish hat I could slap onto my head and call it a day. And sometimes it was just a bit of world building to flesh out this bizarre little universe. And honestly, I love when a game encourages you to really pay attention and soak it all in. It makes the adventure so much more immersive and so much more memorable. And don't take this as me ragging on Little Nightmares 3 because I really did enjoy my time with it. But I have to say, I really like just how much more open Reanimal's world really is. Little Nightmares 3 often felt like a side-scroller since it really was just so linear, while Reanimal hits that sweet spot between letting you explore and keeping you moving so the pacing never drags. Where Reanimal and Little Nightmares 3 converge is in the storytelling, mostly in the sense that I have no bloody idea what's going on. Who are the characters you play as? Are they super tiny, or is everything around them just massive? Why are there so many people in this abandoned factory? And who the hell managed to stuff an entire body down a toilet? Just how? Somehow, things got even more intriguing the deeper I went. I never would have guessed it, but this rundown factory in the middle of nowhere was actually producing munitions. For what war, I have no clue. But given how wrecked and barricaded the whole place is, it must have been bad. And really, what happened to the world in general? Everything looks like it was abandoned 100 years ago, and yet there's still people milling about like it's just another Tuesday. And why are they so monstrous while acting so normal? They remind me of Edgar from the first Men in Black movie. Something weird and alien that is trying to fit in by wearing a human body as a sort of meat suit. But again, why? There doesn't seem to be anyone left to fool, so why bother? It is around this point that I ran into the absolute worst part of the demo, and I mean that in the best way possible. The discarded human skin suits. Heaps of them, just carelessly stuffed into pretty much any corner they could fit in. I am fairly desensitized to horror games at this point, but those things, they really give me the creeps. They're just so wrong. So you can imagine my horror when the damnable things came to life and lunged after me, their jaws unhinging like a snake. The way they move is just awful, as they half slither, half glide across the floor in a complete mockery of the human form. It is honestly a brilliant monster design, but blah, I hate looking at them. And much like everything else in Reanimal, I have no idea what they are and what infernal power keeps them going. But I am definitely eager to find out. So much so that when the demo suddenly ended, I was genuinely annoyed, which, if you ask me, really is a very good sign. That said, this is not a sightseeing tour. So, what is the actual gameplay like? Unsurprisingly, it is very similar to Little Nightmares. An elegant combination of exploration, puzzling, and tense run-ins with the locals. What really surprised me is that Reanimal is actually decently challenging. If you screw around like I did just to see what the enemies are really like, you are probably going to get eaten, and honestly, that's a very good thing. A horror game really does need to threaten you to keep things interesting, but without being so hard that you end up repeating the same section over and over again until the enemies lose their edge. And Reanimal strikes that balance quite well. As for the puzzles, the ones in the demo weren't so much brain teasers as they were excuses to explore the world and work together with your partner, AI or otherwise. They are the very definition of fine. Fun enough to propel the action forward, but honestly instantly forgettable once you're actually done. Which leads me to my only real complaint about Reanimal, the AI companion. Unlike Little Nightmares 3, where the companion mostly seemed to know what to do and when, Reanimal's companion is a bit, airheaded. She'll just stand there for ages before finally realizing what I want and then springing into action. Now I get it, she did nearly drown 15 minutes ago, but even so, I would still appreciate if she didn't get stuck quite so often. It is, after all, a little bit jarring when she jump scares you by teleporting directly inside of you. I'm sure it's a much better experience in co-op where you can go ugh at everything together. But in single player, the companion and those forced two-player obstacles can be a bit immersion breaking. Not enough to ruin things, don't get me wrong, not even by a long shot, but enough that I would have preferred to face the endless horrors alone. Even after finishing the demo multiple times, I still have no idea what's going on. But I do know one thing for certain, I want more Reanimal. It is exactly the type of horror game I enjoy. Weird, immersive, and more focused on creeping you out than making you scream with cheap jump scares. So to answer the question posed by the title, yeah, I do think it is worth playing, and especially the free demo. And if the full release can build on the demo's atmosphere and mystery without losing any of its edge, I can definitely see Reanimal becoming an instant classic, and also some serious competition to Little Nightmares. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate you liking the video and subscribing, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye!